One Zambia, one nation. Hello and welcome to the news to present. My name is Henry Himonde. A look at the top stories in our news. African Development Bank announces 168 million United States dollars budget support to Zambia. Farmers reject e-voucher. Luangwa youths to use art and historical sites to market tourism. And Copper Queens cautioned as they face Japan this Saturday. And now the news in detail. Visiting African Development Bank President Akinwumi Adesina has announced a 168 million United States dollars budget support to Zambia to help the country in its economic recovery agenda. Speaking when he called on President Hakainde Hichilema at State House in Lusaka, Dr. Adesina said the bank will also offer technical and advisory support, public financial management and debt management support, among others, following the country's successful debt restructuring deal. And President Hakainde Hichilema said the African Development Bank budget support to Zambia will help in rebuilding the country's economic prospects. From State House, Kalani Mchima now reports.
With an investment portfolio of $1.1 billion in Zambia spread across 25 operations, the African Development Bank has offered to support Zambia's post-debt restructuring program following the country's agreement with its official bilateral creditors. This came to light during an engagement meeting between AFDB President Adesina Akinwumi and President Hakainde Hichilema at State House.
In our support for you post this restructuring process, I would like to offer our support in the following ways. First, Mr. President, is in terms of technical and advisory support in three ways. First is to support Zambia with regard to public financial management. The second is to support with regard to public debt management. So strengthening and supporting the debt management office. The third is the public investment management itself. These are three critical pillars in which we want to support. And fourth one, of course, is the public procurement, spreading that public procurement side.
Dr. Akinwumi said the budget support will cut across various sectors, including, but not limited to, agriculture, energy, infrastructure, sanitation and clean water, technology, among other sectors.
We will make available resources to you because you're a private sector president. It's not all the time that one gets a private sector person as a president. And you know private sector very, very well. Yeah. And so we will provide facilities to help you prepare bankable projects, whether it's on transport, or energy, on digital infrastructure, on agriculture, whatever, that can be financed from private sector. We have today at the bank $80 million that we can deploy into investment in private investment in various projects. The second one is the Africa Investment Forum. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Africa Investment Forum is Africa's largest premier investment platform. So a lot of what you have in terms of project, whether it be power, whether it's water, whether it's transport infrastructure, digital infrastructure, we can help you prepare them and bring them to the Africa Investment Forum.
President Hichilema said his government welcomes any form of support that helps in rebuilding the country's economy.
Debt restructuring is not over. We have a lot of domestic debt that has issues. And should this facility extend to managing such issues, we would like to look at that window as well, so that we can resolve our domestic debt issues. Some of it is riddled with corruption, Mr. President, where people supplied air and the government paid money. Are you surprised that our debt portfolio went up? So the liability went up, but the asset went down. So this gap means there's something here, and we need to deal with it. But having said that, we need to ensure that the genuine creditors, domestic creditors, are allowed and are given what is due to them.
Acting Finance Minister Felix Mutati and Bank of Zambia Governor Den Kalyalia were also part of the meeting. Kalan Muchima reporting for Zanis in Osaka.
In Northern Province, the Transforming Landscapes and Resilience for Development TRALAD has supported 61 groups in Mpulungu district with start-up capital to venture in different business activities. TRALAD Mpulungu District Operations Officer Mali Silatembo, who visited some projects, is impressed with the performance of the groups the project is supporting in the district. Christine Mselu now gives us more in the following report.
It is a project that government is implementing to provide alternative livelihoods for the people in Mpulungu district. The Transforming Landscapes for Resilience and Development project, TRALAD, has empowered 61 groups in the district. 30 projects have been fully funded and wind off, and TRALAD Operations Officer Madisela Tembo has expressed happiness with their performance.
For the groups that we've supported, they are doing fine, especially those that we've wind off. We are encouraged with the results that we've seen on the ground. From the Chapamwi Community Club and also Twayachonga Youth Club, we've supported them with Pigari for Chapamwi. It's a women's club. And so far, they've proved us to say they can do it as women, and we are happy that we've helped them to build capacity in various trainings. They've been able to sell the pigs to also other groups under TRALAD, and in this way we've been able to promote market linkages. And we are confident to say in the future, at least these groups can be sustainable. For Twayachonga Youth Club, also we supported it with poultry farming, and they are doing so fine. Even the vegetable component, they're able to sell to other groups. And as youths, at least we've created a platform for them to be empowered through various trainings in livestock management. And we are also happy and hope that they will carry on and also teach their colleagues.
And the groups that have been funded are grateful for the support.
The group were funded 828,833 kwacha. We used it to start the poultry farming and the garden. This project has been doing fine, even up to now. It is really doing very fine.
Padi no shita. Tuleto tela kwena pafiwa trala diwa tuchitira. Tuleya pantanshi panono panono. Ukupitira vya muri utoba tupela. Tunkumbanga twashitisha. Twakwata kokamo. Kamo kasha la filafine tuleto alilira.
Christine Mselu reporting for Zanis in Mpulungu.
And in health news, Southern Province Health Director Caristas Kayunga has cautioned health personnel in the province against pilferage of drugs that government has procured and distributed to health facilities. Dr. Kayunga says Livingstone has received 70 kits which have since been distributed to 31 health centers in the district. The provincial health director was speaking when he inspected the drug situation in selected health facilities in Livingstone. Nchimunya Nalumpa brought us this report.
Pharmacies are now well stocked as health center kits have been delivered, with patients now receiving the drugs. This is the status at most health centers in Livingstone. Southern Province Health Director Dr. Caristas Kayunga has conducted an on-the-spot check to assess the availability of drugs in selected health facilities in the district. His first stop was Mahatma Gandhi Clinic in Dambwa Central.
We received about 70 kits that have been distributed to all the 32 facilities of Livingstone district.
On the weekend we received 4 kits which will last for 2 months for approximate. So this side we're keeping the essential medicine, and this side we've got the ARVs.
Cut off a population of 30,770. That's our catchment population. So at least with this we'll be helped. Most of the clients will be going home with drugs.
We are quite happy as a Ministry of Health, as a province, with the amount of drugs that we've received. And we are hoping moving forward, our providers, the nurses, the clinical officers, the doctors, and the community will all be coming here with smiling faces. We know it has not been easy over the past few months and years, but we have the commodities. So we must now begin to talk with our communities, engage them, so that together we manage these commodities prudently.
Later, the team also visited Nakatindi Clinic.
The MMT that we have now, the magnesium trisilicate. We never used to have it. We never used to have a lot of amox. We just used to have maybe just a box, and then you could just finish within a week. But this time at least we have enough drugs.
Patients are happy to receive drugs at the health center.
But even Panadol, but I pass a prescription, I will go to the chemist and buy. So now we are very happy that almost everything is there. So
health authorities in the province also have a message for the health workers.
The district's leadership also need to make sure that they are supervising. Otherwise, we'll end up running out of these commodities.
Nyanalumpa, Zanis, in Livingstone, Southern Province.
And now to Northwestern Province, where farmers in Mwinilunga district have appealed to government to reconsider the use of the e-voucher system for farming import distribution. Kanyi Komboshi Agricultural Camp Chairperson Teddy Samukoku says from the past experience, the e-voucher system has proven to be inefficient and cumbersome for ordinary farmers. Obet Lijimu brought us the following report.
These are farmers in Kanyikomboshi Agricultural Camp in Mwinilunga district. They want some issues regarding the Farmer Import Support Program FISIP addressed. The farmers are against the use of the e-voucher system for import distribution. The number of input packs allocated to the district is another issue of concern among the farmers.
2,000 ants. Ilangana kuchinka 400 packs. Tukuyanza kana ngai. Inatukari nukutukari nini tunetena hoshchengi. The chief rumendi. Nakanga nikwiruka mutukwashi muoni injira ya kutukwashi tulakenga fertilizer ivuru.
Tukunu ndimbu shaka chimachi na toki. Tote na makwirira wanyi. Antwana afuri. Kasumukana wa furumendi ya tureje na toka yinka fertilizer kubadika masaka 8.
Town Council Chairperson Jonathan Chinimba was summoned to the meeting.
I've received this complaint, which I'm also sharing with my area member of parliament, because this complaint is coming from all the corners of Mwinilunga. They need an increment on the allocation of farming inputs. We know we are in our own government, the government that was ushered into power by the seated people here. Yes. Now that this cry is coming from them, yes, I'm sure that the New Dawn government will not turn a deaf ear to the cry of the people from Mwinilunga.
The district has over 35,000 registered farmers and well over 600 cooperatives with about 8,500 farmers currently on the FISIP program. Reporting for Zanis, Obed Ilijim in Mwinilunga district, Northwestern Province.
In Central Province, Provincial Permanent Secretary Miuna Mwanakampwe has taken a swipe at Ngabwe Council management for excessively increasing the price for desks to be procured using the Constituency Development Fund. Mr. Mwanakampwe wondered why Ngabwe Council agreed to procure one desk at 3,000 kwacha when other councils in the province are buying desks at 1,500 kwacha each. Ngabwe Council Secretary Clement Chisanga had difficulties to explain why the council wanted to procure one desk at 3,000 kwacha instead of 1,500 kwacha. Details in the following report.
Central Province Permanent Secretary Miuna Mwanakampwe has taken a swipe at Ngabwe Municipal Council management for what he termed as stealing from CDF after the inflated prices for the procurement of desks. Ngabwe Council Secretary Clement Chisanga had difficulties to explain why they wanted to procure a desk at 3,000 when other councils in the province were procuring desks at 1,500 kwacha.
Luano, which is the furthest, which is rocky, which is mountainous, is procured for 40,000. Yourselves, you want to procure bores at 75, 87,000 kwacha. Are we being fair to one another? Are we being fair to the head of state? Or you people don't support the head of state and as such you don't care whether people rise against it? And when we speak, we want us to be clapping for you, we should plead for us to do the right thing. desk, Kabwe Municipal Council, next door here, from Kabwe, 1,300. Chivombo, 890. Yourselves, 3,000. 1,500. Because you know that's what we have said, is the city. Who wants to steal from CDF?
On the basis of that, we resolved to set up a small team and record the contractors or the possible suppliers. They sat with the team and they were told to say, look, we can only pay up to 1.5. And at the end of it, they agreed, and there are minutes to that effect.
Central Province Acting Local Government Officer Clint Siusiku says the situation is not pleasing.
The situation is not pleasing, but I just hope that my colleagues will be up to the game, because you know, we have no time to waste now. And when you look at now, you know, we have entered almost second, third year in government. So we'd like my colleagues to please take this message seriously, and that maybe within a week can we see progress on whatever we have said. This issue has been discussed time and again, so why should we be talking the same thing? And at the highest level, you know, controlling office is concerned.
And Mr. Manakampo has since warned that we will not allow procurement of desks at above 1,500 kwacha in the province.
We wrote to you that we will not allow procuring of a one desk at 3,000 kwacha, to be precise, 2,780. We will not allow that, not in this province.
Daniel Billy, Zanis News, in Kabwe, Central Province.
And in Petauke District, the District Commissioner, Martha Mlenga, is concerned with the delayed distribution of desks to public schools that are facing critical shortage of furniture, which has resulted in learners sitting on the floor. However, Petauke Council Chairperson Edward Banda says the local authority has procured desks and will ensure that they are distributed to the schools. Lubasi Mtafela brings us more in the following report.
The race is on and time ticking fast towards the December 2023 deadline to have no child sitting on the floor in public schools. While most constituencies have heeded to President Hakainde Hichilema's directive, the stark reality at Lunene Primary School in Kaombwe constituency of Petauke district shows the opposite. Here, these over 100 grade 2 pupils crammed in one classroom are all seated on the floor while learning.
The current number of desks that we have the whole school is 37, against the total number of 650 learners. That is running from ECE up to grade 7. So the only learners that are able to appreciate the use of desks are those in grade 7 and 6. Some also sit on them. Learners are not learning according to the way they are supposed. The learning institution is not conducive for learning. Because even the handwriting itself, as you can see, the child cannot model nicely.
District administration is equally concerned with the state of affairs here.
I would like to express my disappointment on the way we are handling the CDF. In a number of schools, I've seen that our pupils are still sitting on the floor, despite the guidance from His Excellency President Hakainde that by November 30th, no child should sit on the floor. Now, looking at the pace that we are going as a district in terms of delivering projects, desks under CDF, our pace is very slow. My appeal to the local authority who are handling issues of CDF is that can we expedite the issue of desks?
But the Petauke Town Council has promised to act speedily to resolve this situation.
Next week, Monday, they are starting supplying desks. All the suppliers, everything, all the paperwork have been already done. And they will start, for Kaombwe, we are expecting that they should be starting supplying by Monday. By the end of that next week again, we expect the suppliers to start bringing to Petauke Central. If we talk about the shortfall that we have of desks across Petauke Central Constituency, it is worth 16 million kwacha.
Meanwhile, less than 5 kilometers away from Petauke administration is Miju Primary School. The story here is the same. Lubasim Tafela, Zanis in Petauke district.
To Northern Province now, where Mporokoso District Commissioner Brian Mayuni has ordered a contractor working on a 1x3 classroom block at Mukunsa Primary School to halt works on the project due to poor workmanship. Mr. Mayuni issued the directive when he inspected the project, which is being financed under the Constituency Development Fund. Sylvia Zulu now gives us more in the following report.
He has visited Mukunsa Primary School to check on the construction of a 1x3 classroom block, which is being done under the Constituency Development Fund. Mporokoso District Commissioner Brian Mayuni is, however, not impressed with the workmanship on the project and has called on the contractor to halt all the works.
Construction of 1x3 classroom block at Mukunsa Primary School. It was funded by CDF. But looking at the works that have been done so far, we are not convinced, because what we want to see is quality works. And looking at the procedures they are doing here, we told them to hold the beat. They need to stop and do the correct thing. As government, we want to see quality works from the inception of these projects, and we will not allow projects to reach a point where quality is compromised.
The workers on site also had raised some concerns with the working conditions.
I think pano pakati aka mibombele yesu na tushota wanu tatukwete fya kubombela mosho tufilio kumuleka kuti atule bombe filingama working suit ama safety boots na fimbi fya kutira tule muleka kuti tule bombe ero chimbi imilile na yena ataidi buno kulingana kuti twa kwanisha mfe tule bomba na imilile yotulelia checho tule ilishanyako elo na utunda la moto tule senda pali project tunatuchepesha sana.
Meanwhile, school acting head teacher highlighted the importance of having the classroom block at the school.
It was the enrollment of 341 pupils. Yes, and the members of staff, we are only 4. At first, we honored the 1x2 classroom block, but after complaining to the DEB's office and the council, at least we have been remembered and given a 1x3 classroom block, which is under construction.
Reporting for Zanis, Sylvia Zulu in Mporokoso District.
A youth group in Luangwa District has come up with an initiative to market and realize the tourism and investment potential of the border town. Hobby, Nature, Art and Agriculture Youth Cooperative Chairperson Raphael Zulu says his youth group wants to use art and historical sites to market Luangwa's tourism and investment potential. The historical sites include Kavalamanja and Kakaro, where both Zambia and Zimbabwe nationals lost their lives during the liberation wars. Other sites include the ruins of the Portuguese settlers who first settled at Nzumbo in Mozambique, as well as the ruins of Fera, which were visited by explorer David Livingstone in 1856. Here now are the details by Jonathan Mkuka.
Luangwa is a town in Zambia at the confluence of the Luangwa and Zambezi rivers, which was called Feira until 1964. This place has historical sites such as the Kavalamanja and Kakaro, where both Zambian and Northern Rhodesia, present-day Zimbabwe nationals lost their lives during the liberation wars. It also has other historical sites such as Big Tree, used to be a resting place in the 18th century during the slave trade under the control of the Portuguese who first settled at Zumbo in Mozambique. This rich history of Luangwa, the place that was also once visited by the explorer David Livingstone, has forced a youth group in the area to come up with an initiative to market the place.
Here in Luangwa, we've got tourism, which people may not understand. So us, we are trying to depict naturalism so that everyone can understand.
Just want the support. When they support us, we can change this physical appearance of this place. As far as I'm concerned, you have seen the way the place is looking. We want to beautify this place. We want to change this appearance of Ruangwa. The fact that we've already won, that Ruangwa is developing, yeah, so want to change this physical appearance.
Feira constituency Member of Parliament Emmanuel Tembo is happy with the initiative from the youths in the area.
You know, we have a lot of tourism in terms of animals and many other things. But, you know, other than that, there's a lot of human resource. Human resource because we have our arts group that has actually taken up the initiative, you know, to sell the district.
Jonathan Muka reporting for Zanis News in Ruangwa District.
And in Lusaka, the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, says advancing gender equality is a cross-cutting solution to the many population-associated challenges being faced. UNFPA country representative has charged that the current reality has proven that half of humanity still faces discrimination merely based on their gender. He was speaking during a strategic engagement on gender equality with members of parliament ahead of Zambia's official celebration of the World Population Day on July 25, 2023. He noted that in countries like Zambia that are experiencing rampant population growth, empowerment activities such as free education can bring enormous benefits for inclusive economic growth. He stated that UNFPA's agenda for Zambia from 2023 to 2027 is focused on ensuring that all pregnancies are intended, childbirths are safe, while girls are treated with dignity and respect in order to fulfill the potential for young people. And officiating at the event, Minister of Finance and National Planning, Acting Permanent Secretary for Planning and Administration, Charles Banda, noted the need to take population matters seriously.
We also know that almost 1 in 3 of adolescent girls in Zambia are currently pregnant or already have a child, which has proven to fuel intergenerational gender equality, poor mental physical health outcomes, and poverty, and creates a heavy weight on economic and social development of the country. According to the World Bank, closing gender gaps in employment could result in a GDP per capita escalating in future by 20% on average, whereas according to UNESCO, just 1 more year of school can increase a girl's earnings when she's an adult by up to 20%. 1 year more at school.
Gender equality needs to be balanced there, because when you have gender equality, it means everybody has equal opportunities, and then we will be able to ensure that if we have all the labor that we require from both men and women, a country will achieve its development and in the end sustainable development.
We continue with the news. Ministry of Agriculture Permanent Secretary for Administration, Yvonne Mpundu, says agriculture continues to be one of Zambia's mainstay of the economy and the SADC region at large. Ms. Mpundu, however, says the agriculture sector has faced numerous challenges such as pests and adverse effects of climate change, resulting in low crop yields. She was speaking during the Regional Pest Risk Analysis Workshop for SADC member states in Lusaka. She added that pest control is critical in the enhancement and promotion of food security in the SADC region. Ms. Mpundu observed that pests pose a huge challenge to countries in the SADC region, while commending the Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International for holding a training workshop on pest control. She is optimistic that the workshop will come up with interventions to curb the spread of pests that have been affecting crop yields in the SADC region for a long time. And SADC representative Esaya Jalele said the region is committed to trading in quality foods and services in order to strengthen regional integration in the SADC region. He explained that quality agricultural products can only be achieved if disease control is intensified in the SADC region.
It is widely known that agriculture in the SADC region is a mainstay of most of our economies. The sector is a major source of livelihood for the majority of the population in our region. Agriculture in the Southern African Development Community also contributes significantly to non-traditional exports in many, if not all, of the countries represented at this week's workshop. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the sector's importance to the development of the region and the economies of each member state in SADC, agricultural production and productivity has continued to be threatened by many challenges such as floods, droughts, prolonged dry spells, flash floods, and the increased outbreak of plant pests and diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition, the rise in the outbreak of pests and diseases have resulted in the slow growth of agricultural trade and the worsening of post-harvest losses, thus affecting food and nutrition security at regional, national, and household levels.
Training. I think as SADC we have set ourselves a very big and a very gigantic task, regional integration. Some of us, I think, we don't even understand what it means. It's nice words to say, regional integration, but what does it really mean in simple terms to us as agricultural person? Be able to have goods between our member states moving safely, services and goods, trade. But we also noted that we have to do the groundwork for this to be possible. And I think today the workshop marks such work that we have to do to manage the risks, enhance preparedness, and ensure that we build trust among our trading partners for basically coming out with measures that are scientifically proven so that we can make it easy to also trade with the outside world beyond the SADC member states.
And in other news, the Ministry of Justice has held a Labor Day award ceremony to award deserving workers in different categories. Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe officiated at the awards ceremony held in Lusaka. Jenny Simalumba covered the event and brought us this report.
Government has continued to recognize efforts made by employees in order to encourage and motivate an effective workforce. Today, the Ministry of Justice has held its Labor Day award ceremony with an encouragement to all members of staff to remain professional. 10 members of staff have been awarded in different categories, ranging from hard work to long service. Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe graced the occasion and further called on his staff to continue working hard while upholding work ethics.
When we celebrate Labor Day, we should acknowledge that the work is not merely a means of earning a living, but an expression of our individual talents and aspirations. Each one of us gathered here today presents the diverse tapestry of skills, abilities, professions, and experiences that form the backbone of our ministry. I therefore wish to encourage each and every one of us to continue being professional, uphold integrity, excellence, and impartiality, as these are the core values that define our ministry.
Tandiwe Oteng is the Permanent Secretary for Administration in the Ministry of Justice.
Labor Day serves as a reminder of the resolute and unwavering dedication that resides within the hearts of our workforce. This day is therefore very important on the government calendar because it is the day that we honor and recognize the invaluable contributions made by our employees who serve as a bedrock for our institutions.
Over the last few months, different line ministries have been awarding members of staff to appreciate and encourage an effective, efficient and professional workforce. Jane Simalumba Zanis in Lusaka.
And in other news, Central Province Permanent Secretary Milna Mwanakampwe has expressed shock at how prohibited immigrants are subjected to harsh conditions in their search for jobs. Mr. Mwanakampwe notes that prohibited immigrants, most of whom are young, are forcibly transported to other countries in containers where they go for days without meals. The permanent secretary was speaking when he visited 56 prohibited immigrants last night at Kawe Central Police. Shupekile Nkunika has more in the following report.
His feet are sore. Abdul Muchi is struggling to walk after being transported from Ethiopia to Zambia in what would be termed a slavery manner.
They will say we will get for you job. The people in Moyale. When they after they take me, the first thing they take my cell phone. After that, they take the clothes and money. After that, they keep us in the storeroom.
Abdul is among 56 suspected prohibited immigrants who were cramped up in a container on a Volvo truck that was intercepted in Chisamba district as they were traveling to Lusaka. Central Province Permanent Secretary Milna Mwanakampwe was at Kawe Central Police, where the suspects were held.
So we're just thankful to immigration for their lateness, that indeed we get this sort of interceptions. I don't think it's the first time. I think we have had more than one occasion that our district is being used as a conveyance for such illegalities.
Law enforcement officers have explained how the truck registration AJD 2392 and trailer AJC 6422 was intercepted.
They were on a truck going into Lusaka, but of course they're going to different countries.
There are 13 Somalians, 43 Ethiopians and 2 Zambians.
Mr. Mwanakampwe is disappointed at how the suspects were cheated into thinking they would get jobs in other countries.
Young men who are looking for greener pastures, cheated from their different countries by heartless human beings, to be couriered in a slavery manner to different locations, Zambia, Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and maybe beyond. But I think what really breaks any other human being's heart is the manner in which they are cheated from their countries of origin. They are told someone will find them jobs.
The suspects claimed they were deceived that they would get jobs in either Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, or South Africa, and they had no idea that their travel would be harsh. Shupekile Nkunika for Zanis in Kawe District, Central Province.
Local Government and Rural Development Minister Gary Nkombo says the media is a critical stakeholder in the implementation of the decentralization program. Mr. Nkombo says as government works on the realization of the decentralization agenda, the media plays a critical role in enhancing and promoting the implementation process through positive dissemination of information. Mr. Nkombo said this in a speech read on his behalf by Permanent Secretary for Administration Mambo Hamaundu during the media breakfast meeting for heads of public media houses in Lusaka today. He urged the media to highlight achievements scored by government in its objective for national development. Mr. Nkombo encouraged the media to engage government on the decentralization implementation program to enable them provide correct information. And Cabinet Office Decentralization Secretariat Director Jere Mwira noted that media support in the decentralization implementation process will help provide information to the general public on the performance of the local authority. Meanwhile, the Zambia Devolution Support Program Project Coordinator Ngoza Muntali said the goal of the program is to strengthen financing, institutional performance and accountability of town councils in the country. In May this year, President Hakainde Hichilema launched the decentralization policy. And finally, in sports news, a football analyst has advised the Copper Queens to tread carefully in their first encounter at the FIFA Women's World Cup when they play Japan at Waikato Stadium, Hamilton City, New Zealand, this Saturday. Pancherero Chama says Japan are a tricky side that play with a lot of mobility and agility, something Zambia struggled with when they played South Korea in 2 international back-to-back friendlies where the Copper Queens were beaten 5-2 and 5-0 respectively 3 months ago. Chama told Zanis Sports that Japan has a similar style of play with South Korea, hence the need for the technical bench to be aware of the threat. And Zambia Sports Fans Association patron Peter Makembo advised the Copper Queens to be fearless as they compete at the global stage during the Women's World Cup to be co-hosted by Australia and New Zealand. Zambia will make history by participating at its maiden FIFA Women's World Cup, where they face women football heavyweights and former champions Japan and Spain in Group C, which also has Costa Rica.
First game is against Japan. They're a very quick side, very mobile, and we did see during the previous friendlies that we played in April, we played South Korea, that we struggled against the mobility of the South Koreans. They are very similar in style, quick, agile, and that will be their main threat. So everything which will be happening in terms of in relation to training should be centered on that aspect. How do we stop the Japanese mobility and agility? If we can stop them from that area, we can manage to beat.
We are urging the girls to say, do not fear anyone at all. We trust you, we invested in you, and that's why you are there. You are capable of taking any team that will come before you. And this is why we qualified to the World Cup. We were not chosen. We qualified, there was a competition for Zambia to be where it is. So with that in mind, know it to say the whole support from back home, it's with you. And even the other countries that are sympathizing with Zambia to say they are there, they are following it.
That item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, another look at the top stories in our news. African Development Bank announces 168 million United States dollars budget support to Zambia. Farmers reject e-voucher. Luangwa youths to use art and historical sites to market tourism. And Copper Queens cautioned as they face Japan this Saturday. Thank you so much for watching the news. On behalf of the entire news production crew, my name is Henry Himonde. Remember, we are one Zambia, one nation. Until next time, it's goodbye.